Oh my god, of course I had a coughing fit right as I start recording. Why not? So, the creator EggieWeggie has finally done the responsible thing and taken down the creator hub, which is incredibly good news because there was a vulnerability within the creator hub that would allow any malicious third party who wanted to exfiltrate the browser session data for any user who was logged into the hub. Now, what does this mean? Well, you might remember the crony coin meme disaster thing that happened a while back where Crony's account got hacked and turned into a crypto scam channel. And this was done in a way that bypassed two-factor authentication. And just as a note, Crony is not the only one who has been had by this. I'm using Crony because she is the most famous example of this. The way this works is that when you log into a website, whether you have multi-factor authentication on or not, there is a cookie that is stored in your browser that authenticates your computer and says that yes, this is the user, they are logged in. If that did not exist, every time you refresh the page or try to open the website, you would need to re-enter your login information. The average person, understandably, does not want to deal with that kind of crap. So all tokens are stored in a folder that is read-only and protected by admin privileges, so you have to be on an administrator account just to access it. That said, most people with personal computers these days are on their administrator accounts. They don't use the normal accounts. I mean, I don't use my normal account. So there was and it's important to note there are multiple ways to do this. The way most creators end up getting their accounts hacked like this is through a malicious email. What happens is somebody pretending to be a sponsor sends an email with an attached file that claims to be a contract, but it is not a contract. It is a corrupted file which will exfiltrate the data that is available in your browser cookies folder. Specifically, the auth tokens is what it's looking for. Active scans from some virus scanners can detect this, but most passive scans to this day still do not detect this malicious code in these files. And I kind of understand why. Most of the time these corrupted files are .pdf files, and that's a problem. People think that PDF files are safe when they are not. They can actively run code the moment you open them on your computer. Oh, I just read something hilarious. Anyway, that being said, Eggie's creator hub had a vulnerability that would have allowed a third party to insert malicious code that could do the same thing just from the user being logged in to the website. So, I am very thankful that it is down. However, we need to talk about Eggie's response here as well, because it is absolute crap. Eggie's response to this started off with, I'm just going to go touch grass now. And then when the researchers didn't let up and were still talking about these exploits, Eggie eventually moved on to the excuse of, oh my god, there's so much stress, it's hurting me medically. Which, that's the third time I've seen that kind of crap used. Don't use medical problems to evade criticism. I say this as somebody with multiple severe chronic pains that I have to suffer through daily. And yes, stress does make them worse. If I were in Eggie's position, I would be in a lot more pain than normal. But if I were in Eggie's position, I'd be fixing my fucking app because again, there are so many vulnerabilities that it's almost hilarious. I've never in my life heard of an web app with this little security on it. That includes other ones that were coded by Claude, by the way. Even other apps that Claude coded have not proven to be this terribly insecure, which for those who don't know, nearly the entire app was coded by Claude. Eggie's only input was to go into Claude and type a prompt and get it to output code, basically. So Eggie is one of the self-described prompt engineers at the end of the day, and also the supposed cybersecurity researcher who claimed to have fixed it is very similar. I mean, like I've already said multiple times on Twitter and on here, they use AI to write their tweets. And I was even able to get an AI to reverse engineer the prompt of one of those tweets back out of it. So I'm glad they're doing the responsible thing and taking this app down. I'm not happy about the way they've gone about it and how they're trying to silence criticism and make people like me look like the bad guys by claiming that we're affecting their health. You put the app out there, it is your responsibility to maintain it. If you block researchers users who point out vulnerabilities in your code, that is a you problem. They will go public, because at the end of the day, the end user's safety is infinitely more important than your mental health. I know that sounds harsh, but when it comes right down to it, that is the truth. Because imagine if any of these hundreds of users using the Creator Hub got hacked and had all of their channels taken and turned into crypto scams. Not all of them have ends with YouTube or Twitch to get their channels unbanned. Many of them lose their entire livelihoods, all of their monthly income gone in less than a single second. If you're going to put an app out there, you need to be responsible for maintaining it, for maintaining the security of it, and for ensuring that your end users are safe. If you cannot do that, do not put an app out there, period. Your mental health is not more important than the safety of the hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of users who are going to be using that app in any circumstance. There is unfortunately one more point to talk about on top of that. Even though this app is being taken down, there are other vulnerable apps that Eggie has created. According to the researcher Taiga, they have been able to access private database information that Eggie had on hand that includes medical information for another VTuber. And they did so merely by cloning the GitHub repo and poking around at the contents inside of that repo. This is exceptionally bad. While I'm glad the Creator Hub is taken down, Eggie needs to take down every single app, because to my knowledge, every single one, both public and private, were coded with Claude, and all of them have nearly these exact same security flaws in them as a result. So, I'm glad they're doing the responsible thing. I'm not happy about how they're treating doing the responsible thing. They're treating it like it's too much of a chore and acting like it hurts. Yeah, getting criticism hurts. It sucks. But you deserve it, Eggie. You absolutely deserve the criticism you have received. And you need to take down your other apps and fix the massive amount of security vulnerabilities still present within them. Most of them cannot be saved in the state they are in. Most of them have to be recoded from the ground up. If you cannot do that, then delete them. That is the only way forward, because you are personally responsible for all of the user data that is in those apps. And the fact that those apps are insecure and anyone can log in and exfiltrate that data at any point they want to, that is on your shoulders. If somebody else ends up having a Twitch account hacked, for instance, which, hell, there was just a Twitch account that was hacked today, and the bank account information was changed to somebody else. I'm not saying that Eggie did that, but that's the whole point I'm trying to make. Any data that a user has input into any application that Eggie has ever made, the responsibility for the security and safety of that data and that user is on Eggie. If they can't do that, they should delete the apps and leave it to someone else. Because at the end of the day, the end user safety is worth more than your health. Again, that's harsh, but that is the truth. If you can't do it, don't do it. There's a reason I don't release any apps, even though I have actually made a few that I think would be useful. I just use them as my own personal apps. I am never going to release them because I do not have the time, the energy, the mental health, or the spoons to maintain those apps. And I am not going to do that. If Eggie wants to be responsible, then the most responsible thing to do is to take down everything as it is right now and start over from the ground up and learn how to properly program stuff. If Eggie does not want to be responsible, the best thing to do is just to delete the apps and move on. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. Thank you all so much to everyone who watched. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are around the globe, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!